Hello and welcome back to Build and Teach. In this tutorial, we're going to be going over loops in Python. Now, loops allow you to execute a block of code over a set number of times, over a set sequence. And there are two types of loops in Python. There are for loops and there are while loops. Now, the syntax for a for loop would be as follows. For some variable, it could be x, it could be I, it could be a, it could be whatever you want, in range, and then the number of times, colon, enter, 4 spaces, and then execute some code. Now the notebook will create these spaces for you, but if you're using a text editor, make sure you put 4 spaces after you press enter. Put 4 spaces and then the code you want to execute. A while loop is a little different. The keyword is while. Then you set some variable x, a, b, a, whatever you want, and then some conditional operator. Remember the decision making tutorial we went over? The conditional operators are equal to, not equal to, greater than equal to, less than or equal to. We covered that in the last tutorial. And then some condition, whatever condition you're testing for, and then you execute the code. So let's go into an example, and it'll make things a little bit easier. So let's say for some reason you wanted to print hello 5 times. Now, one way to do it is to simply write print statements 5 times and then execute them. What that will do is that will print the string that you specified 5 times. But that's kind of wordy. It takes up a lot of space, and it's kind of the dumb way to do it. The other way to do it would be to use a for loop. And here I have a for loop. Remember the syntax of the for loop. It's for x or some variable. It could be a, b, c, d, whatever you want. For x in range, and then the number of times that you want to loop. And then colon, enter, 5 spaces, and print hello. So here I'm printing hello 5 times. So for x in range 5, print hello. And notice the index, right? So this x, what does this x do? X is basically a counter for the range, and the counter starts at 0. So similar to strings, remember that the very first position in a string starts at 0. And you notice here I'm printing 5 times, but it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm sorry. Which makes 5 times. So that's a for loop. You can also loop through a string. So the syntax for looping through a string is similar to the in range. The only difference is you specify your string and you say for I in your string, colon, enter, 4 spaces, and the code you want to execute. So here I'm looping through the word strawberry. And it's going to go through each character in the word strawberry, and it's going to print out the letters or the characters in the loop. Now, there's also the concept of breaks within for loops. So let's say you're creating some code in which you're looking at a string and you're looking for the character x. So here I've created a string, which is a pretty long string, and somewhere towards the beginning I have an x. So I'm looping through the string for I in some string, colon, enter, 4 spaces, print I. And then I have a condition here. If I equals x, print found. And notice what happens here. It'll loop through the entire word, and once it finds the letter or character x, it'll print found. But that's a little bit of a waste, right? Because you're still looping through the whole word. And imagine if this was a 1,000,000 character word. You would want it to stop as soon as it finds the x. And that's where break comes in, right? So what break does, it says, even if the string is not finished or the iterator is not finished, if this condition is met, break the loop. So in here, if I execute the same code, right? So I have the code for I in string, print I. If I equals x, then break. Notice what happens here. it stops at the fifth character, which is the X, and it does not continue looping, which is good code, because at this point you're not wasting processing on the rest of the string. The condition has been met, so it breaks. So breaks are a way to break a loop, right? Once a specific condition is met. The other loop within Python is a while loop. Now, while loops are a little bit dangerous. You have to be very careful, because if you don't ever meet the condition of the while loop, you'll create what's called an infinite loop, and your program will run indefinitely. So you have to be very careful when you're creating while loops to ensure that the test condition is met. So here I have a while loop that will do the same thing as I specified before. It'll print hello 5 times. But I've created a little piece of code here that'll ensure that this X, which starts at 0, will hit 5 at some point. If I remove this, and I'm not going to remove it because it's gonna break the program. If I remove it, it'll continue printing hello, because the condition X less than 5 will always be true. So you have to make sure that the condition at some point is false. And here we're creating the condition as false. The break keyword can also be used in while loops in a very similar way to the way we had the string. So here I have the same while loop that should iterate 5 times. But once the X, right, X equals X plus 1, hits 2, it'll stop. So that's another example of using the break keyword to break a loop. Try these out. Try the for loops. Try the while loops. Try iterating. Create a string and iterate through the string. Put some conditions in there and use the break keyword to break once that condition is met. Give it a try, and as usual, text instructions will be at the end of this tutorial. Thank you.